truly great phones really are just like buses. You wait bloody yonks for one to show up and then 3 turn up all at once. Although thankfully, unlike buses, great phones don't smell of discarded fags and old urine. Huawei recently stole my heart with the P20 Pro, truly one of the most drill-worthy phones launched in months, and pure proof that Samsung no longer rules the premium Android roost. This was swiftly followed by the Honor 10, a significantly more affordable blow that nevertheless packs in premium specs, decent camera tech, and a lovable disco-style design. And then literally one day after Honor's big reveal, OnePlus launched one of the most hotly anticipated phones of 2018, the OnePlus 6. This 6.2-inch beast is one of very few handsets boasting Qualcomm's super-powered Snapdragon 845 chipset. On top of that, you get a versatile dual-lens camera with incredible video chops, a gorgeous and undeniably massive AMOLED display, and that rather splendid dash charge tech. And the best bit is, it still costs less than 500 quid. Stick that in your pipe hole, Apple. I've been using the OnePlus 6 as my so-called daily driver for just over a month now, and frankly it's effing marvellous. And although it's time to move on to other handsets now for review purposes, I'll definitely be returning to this mighty mobile whenever possible, and here's why. Oh, and don't forget to tap that big ol' sexy subscribe button for more on the latest mobile tech. Cheers. So first up, that design. Unlike last year's all-metal OnePlus 5T, the OnePlus 6 sports a shiny glass finish. I've got the mirrored black model, and so far I love the look, even if it is a total dust magnet. Seriously, trying to shoot this thing is an absolute nightmare. Within seconds it's peppered with little white specks. Still, the main thing is that Gorilla Glass construction means this is one tough mother. After a full month of non-stop use, I'm yet to see a single blemish appear on that glossy surface. And if you're a bit of a butterfingers, no worries. You even get a clear case bundled in the box, although the phone does admittedly look a bit like it's wrapped in a prophylactic. One question I've seen surface again and again is how water resistant is the OnePlus 6, and while I haven't fully submerged it, mostly out of sheer terror that it will break, it's happily survived several thunderstorms, as I can attest, from living in the UK. One thing I really miss, which most rivals boast, is some kind of proper one-handed mode. Sure, you can swipe down the notifications tab from anywhere easily enough, but that's not much use when you're trying to use an app with a beer or whatever else clutched in one hand. At least once a day I end up stabbing the screen with my nose, mushing my face into the phone like I'm trying to make out with it, which goes down particularly well in public places. Apart from that little omission, I'm loving the Oxygen OS experience as usual. The overall look and feel is undeniably Android, with a bit of bonus customization and extra features thrown in that, for the most part at least, are pretty useful. You can set up all kinds of shortcuts to your favourite apps to supplement the nifty and long-lasting shelf window. And I also really love that alert slider, which is particularly handy when you're constantly diving into meetings, briefings, things like that, although you do have to remember to switch the bugger back once you're done. One of the best additions is OnePlus's excellent facial recognition tech, which first appeared in the previous generation. This is easily as strong as Huawei's face recognition, with particularly impressive results in the dark. I found that it's actually faster to unlock this phone using your mug than it is to use that rear-mounted fingerprint sensor, and that scanner is bloody quick, by the way. For more on the OnePlus 6's best features, go check out our in-depth tips and tricks guide which I shot over on Rukombu. It really is packed with stuff. If you want a smartphone for watching non-stop Netflix box sets on the go or enjoying some gaming on the move, then the OnePlus 6 is one of the very best choices right now. This mighty 6.2-inch AMOLED display isn't just super spacious, it's also pleasingly punchy as well. You have full control over the colour output, so you can tone back those vibrant colours if you like, but to be honest, we like that default setting. And while it's Full HD roll and Quad HD, so you don't get those same uber crisp visuals of something like the Galaxy S9, you don't really notice that unless you put the two phones side by side and do a proper comparison. Don't worry if you download lots of shows or games to keep you entertained away from the convenience of your home Wi-Fi either. You'll get a minimum of 64 gigs of space on board here, although as usual there is zero support for microSD. So unless you back up to the cloud, you'll probably have to occasionally shift stuff off manually. And while we're on the subject of the OnePlus 6's innards, one of the highlights of this phone is undoubtedly the Snapdragon 845 chipsets that's packed inside. I still haven't seen many phones rocking the 845, which is a shame because it's an absolute powerhouse. Games such as PUBG load up in very little time indeed, and play with a gorgeous frame rate even on the top detail settings. The overall user experience isn't quite perfect, of course. For one, like the Huawei P20 Pro before it, the OnePlus 6 has similar issues with Google Apps. Gmail in particular is constantly hanging with that dreaded spinny buffering wheel of doom, which means that you'll need to swipe it away and try again. There seems to be a problem with Google's apps rather than the handset, however, so hopefully they'll get around to bloody sorting it out at some point. Another benefit of that energy efficient Snapdragon 845 is the excellent battery life that it affords. Previous OnePlus models often struggled to survive until you were all tucked up with Teddy at night time, but the OnePlus 6 hasn't drained in a single day the entire time I've been using it. not even when I hammer it with plenty of camera use, gaming and stuff like that. Typically I have around 20% of life left at the end of every day, and then of course just an hour of dash charge action gets it back up to full. The OnePlus 6 once again serves up a dual lens rear camera with the same 16 and 20 megapixel f1.7 specs of the old OnePlus 5T. However, the main 16 meg lens now boasts a splash of optical image stabilization, which helps to counter any handshakes which might result in blurry shots when lighting conditions aren't amazing. If you already own the OnePlus 5T, then this snapper isn't much of an evolution, at least as far as everyday shots are concerned. Those evening photos are a little sharper and a bit more detailed, but you'll really struggle to notice much difference unless you view the results side by side. However, the video results are simply magnificent, especially at that new 4K 60 frames per second level. Our test videos were packed with detail, while the digital stabilization fought back against any kind of motion and gave us silky smooth results. Have a squint at our full OnePlus 6 vs OnePlus 5T camera comparison to see what has changed, and stay tuned for an in-depth Huawei P20 Pro vs OnePlus vs Honor 10 comparison to see how it stacks up against its biggest rivals. So, as I kinda spoiled at the very start of this video, I'm just as infatuated with OnePlus after a month of having the thing stashed in my jeans. It's a media monster, a portable powerhouse, a photography, funtime device. Basically, it just does everything that you need for half the price of some rival flagships. If only the thing was easier to use one-handed. Oh well.